Hi, and welcome to Three Questions With. Got my buddy Bob with us from Life Solutions Group. Hey, Bob, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Good to see you.
Bob, I asked you to come on the show today because I want to talk about something. You know, I'm getting closer to retirement and I'm looking at my investments and what I did. And when I was younger, we just made this natural assumption to put as much money into my 401k as I could, because my wife and I made decent money. We didn't want to pay a big tax bill at the time. So we just socked away as much in our 401k as we can, thinking, oh, you know, when I retire, Bob, I'm not going to need as much money. And we made this magical assumption that tax rates were going to be less. And everyone just accepted it 30 years ago. Like, oh, of course, tax rates will be less. Now I'm 57, looking at retirement going, I may have bet wrong. What do you think? Did I bet wrong?
I think I think most likely you did. I mean, there's obviously no certainty in what we do, but you know, with the deficit passing $30 trillion and having, you know, 150 plus trillion in unfunded liabilities already set to need to be paid over the next, you know, 20, 30 years. I don't see any way possible that they could continue to operate the business of government without raising taxes and across the board, not just everybody says tax the rich, but you could take every dollar that all the billionaires in the country own and you wouldn't pay off the deficit.
It is, it's scary, but you know, unfortunately, we just have this mentality of, well, but Bob, I don't want to write a check to the government during tax time. As I told you, you know, my tax guy used to tease us, you know, we put extra money away for taxes and, you know, I'd still be writing a check and he would joke on, well, have you considered having 2 or 3 kids, you know? And it's like, I'll just keep writing the check, to be honest, buddy. But it was just kind of the running joke between my wife and I and our tax person. But, you know, we just had that mentality, but we don't want to write a check. But maybe that would have made better sense, or, you know, thinking about things like Ross and maybe some insurance to, you know, kind of balance it out so that, again, we made the assumption that we would need less money in retirement. Well, Bob, I'm not working, you know, we might have 1 car, you know, we're going to just cut back in retirement. So I don't need all the money I'm making today, but not thinking 30 years from now, you know, the inflation is going to hit us too. You would think, oh, I need 150, I only need 75, but 75, 30 years from now is not going to be 75.
Yeah, most likely it's going to be more of 125 or 150. So even if the tax brackets didn't increase, you're going to still pay the same tax when you start pulling it out. And that's the problem, is that a lot of people, you don't equate it to, you know, if you equate it to a partnership agreement that you're entering into with the IRS, but your partner can change the terms on you whenever they want. So right now, we're in a fairly low tax rate environment, even though it doesn't feel like it, but historically we are. 30 years, 10 years from now, 30 years from now, it's most likely going to be higher and the IRS is going to do it. So now every dollar you save, you might look at your 401k statement and you might have done very well saving and investing, and you might be in $1 million mark or $2 million mark. But if you have $1 million in a 401k, how much of that is actually yours that you're going to get to spend? Is it 800,000 and you're going to pay 20% in tax, or is it 400,000 and you're going to pay 60% of it in tax? You don't know that.
I know. That's a pretty risky game. So Bob, does it make sense for someone, you know, 4 or 5 years away from retirement to sit down with you and maybe look at maybe reallocating some of those assets?
Yeah, we work with a lot of clients who are, you know, anywhere from, you know, typically we consider people get, you know, 10 years out up until actually retiring. There's different strategies we can use. We look at doing Roth conversions, and we look at doing using life insurance contracts, overfunding them. And if you create them properly, they can be pretty efficient in the long run. And those are just ways you can create tax-free income in your retirement. And you don't necessarily have to get all your money into that tax-free bucket, because you still are going to have some exemptions that you can play with. when you start pulling out the tax deferred money, but you definitely want to look at that.
So Bob, what's the best way for people to reach out to you? How can they learn more, my friend?
So they could, check out our website at lsgadvisors.com. They could call me. My number is 978-210-1265, or shoot me an email, and it's bob.prousalis@lsgadvisor.com.
Bob, appreciate you taking a couple minutes to come on the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Thanks for having me.